It's Wombat Jones for Ramen Chokehold here. Another very special guest. It's a man, half of the main event up at Coastal Combat 4, which goes down on September 8th at the Coolum Civic Centre. I'm here with the smiling assassin, David Martinez. How you going, mate?
Fantastic, brother. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, mate. Mate. I see you quite often. I think this is the third time that I've interviewed you now. So, thanks so much for coming back on. How you been?
Oh, fantastic, man. Things are things are really looking up lately.
Yeah, and mate, I know before we start talking about fighting and all that sort of stuff, but last time I seen you, it was only not that long after you got married. So how's that all going? I guess everyone's asking you the same old questions. How's married life treating you? But why don't you tell everyone how married life's treating you?
Man, well, if I'm honest, I feel like a king at the moment. Of course, there are other times where I feel more like a servant. But
So when you're feeling like a king, that means she's looking after you well, then, mate.
oh yeah, she's absolutely fantastic, man. I couldn't ask for a better woman.
So are we still going to make the weight limit, or what's going on? Is she looking after you too well?
Oh, maybe.
So, mate, I seen you also, even at your wedding, you had a couple of XFC straps that you took photos with. That must have been pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I've got three of them now. So well, I've got two right behind me actually. Yeah, I was hoping to make a pro debut at that last XFC card, but ended up being a title defense. Well, I can't argue with getting another belt. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're pretty sweet belts, aren't they, man? And like you said, you defended that twice, I believe, and so you won it and then defended it twice. So you got three belts, but like you said, you turn them pro, and that happens only in a week's time, mate. So is there any sort of different feel on your head?
Well, I know the rounds are longer, man. I'm like, well, I gotta ease up on the gas a little. You know me, I like to go running headlong in. It's more my style.
And so, is that what you've been working on? Like, have you been working on like your cardio and all that sort of thing? Is that what you've stepped up now?
More so being patient, though. It's more about being patient, learning timing and how to be more efficient.
Yeah, and I know when I commentate, sorry to cut you off, but when I commentate, most amateurs, I always make reference of how they just go in and they sort of, they don't waste any time and they start swinging, as where the pros like to sort of fill their range out and all that sort of thing. Is that what you mean?
Yes, yeah, well, that's what being professional is. Yeah, us amateurs, we just like to swing it out. See who's the better man. And but when it comes to the pros, I think it comes down to finding out who has the better mind.
That's interesting. So, mate, let's go back and let's talk about what first got you in MMA. What was your first martial art? How old were you? And do you remember watching your first MMA fight?
Well, I've got a funny story for you about that, man. Actually, my first fight, I jumped in without any training. I just jumped in the cage, went down to Brisbane, had to go at it, got destroyed. But I fell in love with it. And about 6 months later, I started training in Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. And obviously, that's where my strong point's been, my grappling.
Yeah, and take me back to that first night, because if you have a look at your record, you're 9-1-1. Your first fight you lost, like you said. So you're saying you had absolutely no training and had a crack. Then your next fight was your draw, and then you've piled on 9 straight victories in a row, including those 3 title wins. So take me back to that first night. What was going through your head, when you first entered the cage?
Well, man, because I had no training, and I've never had I've never been in a street altercation or anything like that. I never had a fight at school or in my life. So I guess I had no preconceived notions about what fighting was like. And so it was pretty easy for me to just sort of skip all the nervous energy a lot of people feel for my first fight. I was actually a lot more nervous for my second than I was for the first. And I mean, when I went out there, I landed the first punch. I was like, yes, this is good. And I got taken down and choked unconscious.
And that's what sort of like spurred you on to BJJ. Like you were like, don't worry about these punch shit. Like let's just get to choking people.
Well, yeah, well, so I realized I needed grappling. And then when I started learning grappling, I did a C class fight, which can't punch on the ground. And I was like, damn, I need that too. So I had full mount in my second fight and I couldn't punch the guy
Yeah, what was it? A C class game, was it?
last year.
Yeah, so and then you made the swap to B class, and like I said, you reeled off, and I think you got 8 submission wins out of those 9, which 6 or 7 are rear naked chokes. So when you get someone's back, they're certainly in trouble. Is that just what you're naturally good at? Is that, or is it something that you really work hard on? What is it about you and your rear naked choke?
I don't know what makes it work, but it's coming off nicely. Yeah, I think yeah, once I take the back, it's really just that's my end game. And I don't know, I'm learning to be a bit more patient with it as well, not just try to wring my arm around, but yeah. But I'll tell you something about the my winning streak though. Before the very first fight of that one, my sister came to me and told me that and she said, "Yeah, you're gonna win." And I said, I'll try my best. And she said, no, you're gonna win. Well, don't bother coming back home. You can sleep in the gutter for all I care. And well, 9 fights later, I haven't lost.
So what are you putting it all down to what your sister told you, or what's going on there?
I have to say so, man. And that sort of spurred me on. And I'm here like 9 fights, 3 title fights later.
Yeah, well, it certainly didn't hurt you. That's for damn sure, mate. But let's talk about your training now. And you've been training up there with Ryan Dunstan, and people are telling me it's kind of like the TJ Dwayne Ludwig combination you got going on up there. What do you got to say about him, mate?
He's really taken me under his wing, and he's showing me sides of fighting that I never really understood or knew existed. I mean, sort of more on the mental side as opposed to the physical. And he's helping me to streamline my game, if you get what I mean. Sort of cutting out unnecessary movements, getting more to the point, and being efficient are his main things. But mainly being patient. That's what he's trying to get me to do.
And you've been drilling and doing quite a lot of training as well with Ben Wall, haven't you? You know, he's a ex-UFC fighter.
Yeah, man, Ben's a beast. And if you're not careful, he'll ragdoll you all day.
And what do you take from that? You know, do you take the fact that he's been there, he's been up to the top of the promotional tree, or what do you take away from working with someone like him?
Well, I basically just took him on as my older brother, and we just basically roughhouse. But yeah, it's inspiring to have a guy like him in the gym, and he works harder than anyone else, and well, yeah, he's a cardio machine, strong as an ox, and well, let's say my rear naked chokes aren't as effective anymore.
Maybe not on him, but I'm sure they still go all right, mate. But we better give the MMA freaks out on Facebook a big shout out as well, because you're very active there. And I caught an interview that you did on there maybe last week. But what I'm going to ask you about, mate, is before we get into your fight, I want a prediction for Khabib and Conor. I've been asking everyone lately in my interviews. You probably knew this question was coming, but don't tell me who you want to win. I want to know who you think's going to actually win.
Well, can Conor land the left hand before Khabib takes him down? And if Khabib takes him down, can he finish him before Conor gets another chance? In all honesty, I do see Khabib winning. I see him taking Conor down. I see him you saw what happened when Nate got him down. Conor's got a left hand on the money, man. But he relies on pressure. And you can't pressure Khabib.
So you think that Conor needs to try and somehow force him backwards?
Well, yeah. He's got to get him back and up. Because that's what Conor does. He comes out swinging like a wild man and whack around kicks and all sorts of stuff. Gets them back and up, and then he just picks them off as they come at him. try and relieve some of that pressure. He's like, bam, left hand. And until eventually it's just too much and they collapse. I mean, how many TKOs does he have of them collapsing against the cage?
Yeah, quite a few actually. You're right. So who knows? But your pick is it's going down on record. You're picking Khabib, yeah.
Yep.
There it is. All right, and not only that, but what was it like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago when GSP was out here? You got to meet him. That was pretty cool. I seen the photos you put up on Facey.
Man, GSP is like my all-time favorite of all the fighters who could have come across. It had to be him, and I was like, yes.
So what's going on with the Grand Canyon then, mate?
Oh, I don't know what happened there, but I took advantage of it to make some fun.
Yeah, it was a classic. I'll put that up in the interview as well. But let's talk about your amateur run and especially your XFC, because you've been on XFC so many times now and defended that belt. You obviously love the promotion. You wish that you could have proed on there, but talk about them guys a little bit.
Oh, the XFC. Oh man, they've been looking after me lately. Yeah, what was that? I think I've made 4 appearances now. And 3 title fights. Yeah, so I'm quite happy being on there. And I actually, if I can, I want to appear on their November card. And especially, if you don't mind, I want a Stay of Origin match.
Yeah, nice, because you actually were in a part of that last year, weren't you?
Yes, well, Queensland's lost this year, so give me 2 guys, and let's go get some glory back.
There it is, Matt Walton. There's your shout out. He wants on the Queensland team, baby, so you better hook him up. But, mate, you are making your debut, your pro debut. It's on Coastal Combat. What's it been like working with Joel and all those guys out there?
Yeah, Joel's an awesome guy, man. He set me up nicely. He's put me in the main event. I'm like, wow, that is such an honor. And I'm up against Mackay's Peter Templar, who's a purple belt and a ridiculously good grappler in his own right.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what I'm really looking forward to in this fight. Obviously, most of your damage is done on the ground, and so it is for him. I think he was 5-0 as an amateur. So, you got 9-1-1 up against 5-0, both purple belts, both killers on the ground. How do you see the fight playing out, Leo? Do you think maybe that'll cancel each other out, or just whoever's got the better game is going to take it?
Yeah, I think who can score the takedown? That's the key to victory there. Which one of us is going for a ride?
And so, what have you been doing? Have you watched any tape? Are you do you have anything sort of specific in your head going into the fight? You don't have to tell me, but are you formulating a game plan, or are you one of these types of fighters who just wants to be well rounded everywhere, and wherever the fight goes, the fight goes?
Well, you always want to go in with a game plan, but just be wary that when you get punched, the game plan might go out the window. So you want to have it drilled into you properly, so you can trust your body to be able to take over for you, even when your mind's not really with you.
Yeah, 100%. And pretty sweet posters they've been putting out as well. They've got a whole little Street Fighter thing going on, and I think, was it you who had a little bit of fun with them as well?
Yes, yeah, I had my own little touches in there with myself and my teammates.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. So, mate, just lastly, you've obviously got a fair few people to thank. It's quite late. I know you just got home from training. We're getting on at 10 o'clock at night here. Who would you really like to thank? Who's getting you ready for this fight? And, perhaps people at home and all those sorts of things supporting you.
Oh, man, I'm not going to name everyone because obviously I'm going to leave someone out, and I don't want to do that, but I got to thank Ryan for all the tutelage he's given me lately. I got to thank Ben for all the beatings he's given me. I got to thank Jason, the boys down Gangbred, and all their support. The guys at MMA Freaks, man, they take care of their own. My beautiful wife, of course, who supports me like no other. And a couple of guys at home, man, that I really like to thank, particularly for helping me over the last year. That's my friends Gavin, Scotty, and Jai. And love those guys.
And what's it like? What's it like, man, having support from friends like that? You know, because it can be quite lonely, can't it?
Oh, it can, man. Like when you're in the cage, it's just you, the opponent, and all the ref. But I don't know. I tend not to see it. Yeah, so you got your cornermen, but they're outside. Yeah, it's just you in there. And it can feel lonely, but when you know you've got waves of support behind you, close friends, family, loved ones, it all helps, man. It all piles on. It takes you to victory, basically.
So, mate, why don't you let everyone know where can they follow you, mate? If they haven't seen your fight, you can log on to YouTube. XFC up on their page has all your title fights, I believe. So you can catch him out there. But on social media, where can we catch you there, my man?
Yeah, just look up Smiling Assassin, David Martinez. Like that page and yeah, follow me on my journey.
Well, there he is, ladies and gentlemen. Half of the main event. It goes down September 8th at Coastal Combat 4 up at the Coolum Civic Centre. Mate, the Smiling Assassin, David Martinez, thank you so much for coming back on, my man. And I'll be definitely seeing you up there.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me, brother.
Anytime, mate. You're welcome anytime. Take care.
You too, man.